In a world where you can be anything, why wouldn't you aim to be your absolute best self? You are a limitless creature and you can choose to live the life of your wildest dreams. But how? Let's dive a bit deeper. Hi team, today we're letting our imagination flow just like when we're little kids and we are building our dream selves. No limits today. Get your pen and papers out, maybe grab a drink and let's get started. In our previous episode we talked about letting go of the old and that is a very crucial part in this process, but today we are going to talk about the dream self and really focusing on what that would look like and how do we get there. So our first step is to get very clear on what we want. How do we want to look like? What do we want our life to look like? How do we want to exercise? What do we want to believe about ourselves? This has to be very specific. The more specific you are, the better it is for you, the easier it is for you to really walk towards those goals. And you can do this exercise for every single aspect of your life. You can use your well-being, your finances, your relationships, anything. But today we focus more on the well-being aspect because it's a well-being channel. So you can divide this into 4 categories. You can think about the physical side, like the physical actions you do every day and your physical appearance. Then you can think about the emotional side, like how do you want to feel about yourself, feel about your well-being overall. Then the third aspect would be your mental side, like how do you want to think about yourself, what kind of thoughts you want to have every day in your life. And then the fourth, if it's something that's important to you, your spiritual or religious aspect. If you're not into that, then you can skip that part. But if that is something that's close to your heart, then also include that in your plan and in your vision. I want you to start this with a completely clean page. You forget about the old stuff. You don't focus on the old stuff now. You focus on only your dream self and your dream self only. You don't think about what your family thinks. You don't think about what your friend thinks. You don't think about your work. You don't think about anything like that. You only think about yourself and how you want to live your life. What kind of life do you want to live? You might be like, I'm not sure what I want. I don't know what I want. I'm afraid I won't make the wrong decisions if I only think about this or only think about that. But the thing is, you cannot make wrong decisions in this exercise because you have to listen to your intuition, listen to your heart's desires. You know what they are when you dig deep. If you were your future self, if you were your dream self, when you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night, what are the actions? What are the thoughts? What are the beliefs between the waking up and going to bed? Like step by step, what would your life look like? And if that's too hard for you to visualize, then you can start by how do you want to feel every day? Probably happy. Probably you want to have inner peace. Maybe you want to feel inspired. You want to feel excited about life. You want to feel energized. You want to have all these good feelings. Identify how you want to feel. That might be the easiest step to start with. Then, when you know that, you can start thinking to yourself, well, what are the beliefs I would have to have about myself to be able to feel this way? What would be the actions I would take to be able to feel this way? So you can write all this down again. Because when you write things down, they become more concrete and you can kind of see the whole vision in front of you. And that's amazing, that's powerful. And you can even make a vision board, like many people like making vision boards. But if you want to start with something, start with writing down. That's the easiest way to start. You don't need to look for any pictures, you don't need to look for any magazines, anything. You can just write things down. Then the next step is going to use different tools to help you start embodying that new version of yourself, help you start to really reprogram your mind towards becoming that person. There are many tools. You can use meditation, you can use journaling, the vision board, and you can use affirmations. There are so many things you can use to help you reprogram your mind towards that new reality. One very powerful way that maybe you haven't thought of is using voice memos with your own voice. So the idea is to record yourself talking about your life as your dream self, as if it was a reality that you're already living in. For example, you would record yourself saying, I'm so grateful for this new life that I have. I'm so beautiful, I'm confident, I take good care of myself, and I'm so proud of myself for doing these things every day. I feel so connected, so energized, so aligned in every aspect of my life. I enjoy time with my family, time with my friends. I enjoy exercising. I make sure I also rest and rejuvenate. And I feel like my life is in balance. That's just an example. It can be anything that feels good to you. The point is to talk about it like in present tense, as it was your reality today. I know this sounds crazy. And even if you haven't done this before, you're like, oh my goodness, she's crazy. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sound so dumb. But forget about that. Forget about sounding dumb. Forget about if it feels weird or, dumb. Just do it anyway. Like everything in life, every single thing in life that you really, really want might feel hard in the beginning, might feel difficult, but you're going to do it anyway. You are going to persist. You are going to ignore the fact that it feels dumb. You're going to do it anyway. Because that's when you get results. When you persist, when you do it despite the fear or the feelings of uncomfortable or feelings of unfamiliar. So use some kind of tools to help you reprogram your mind towards that new vision you have. And then when you have made that voice memo, that recording of yourself, you're going to listen to it every night and every morning on repeat. Because every morning and every night, after you have woken up in the morning, and then before you go to bed at night, your mind is more receptive. Your subconscious mind is more receptive to information. And that's when you want to implement that new stuff into your brain. Turn your focus towards that new reality. Then our third step of the process is embodying that new reality, that new identity, your dream self. This is the most fun part of all this. It's exciting to kind of be a new person. You can even name this person differently if it feels weird to kind of try to be somebody else. But it's not about trying to be somebody else. It's about becoming your dream self, becoming your future self. It's not faking. It is becoming. It is evolving. It is leveling up. So for example, when you go to the grocery store and you walk on the aisles, you're like, I'm beautiful, I'm confident, I'm fit, I'm happy. You can say that silently in your mind. When you do a workout, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for showing up for myself. I'm so proud of myself for doing this workout. Like, hype yourself up as if you were your dream self. So proud of yourself. Be so excited about your life. Be like, you have to use your imagination a little bit here. You can't be like, oh, but my life is so boring, but I'm not, doing these things, but no. Stop with that. You let go of the old. That's the only way you can succeed. You cannot hold on to the old and expect something new to come. It's impossible. It's a power struggle. Okay? It is a power struggle. So let go of the old. Welcome the new. Don't make this too complicated. I know your mind is trying to make it complicated. Your mind is trying to resist. I know. But you have to embody the new reality. And you can do that in everyday situations, in the grocery store, at work, at home, by visualizing yourself, by talking to yourself in a new way, by feeling that I am beautiful, I am fit, I am strong, I am powerful, I am confident. Like all these positive things about yourself, about your future self, you bring them to your reality today. It might feel a bit tricky in the beginning, but once you actually start to practice this, it becomes easier and it becomes so fun. And one more example on this embodying the future self is, for example, if in your vision you think about yourself as a person who always takes care of themselves, who prioritizes health, then whatever circumstances happen in your life, you are a person that prioritizes their health and takes care of themselves. So you act that way, you think that way, and you believe that way. Even if you have a busy day, even if you have like a horrible week coming, or you're just stressed out, or whatever happens in your life, remember that you are a person who takes care of themselves, who prioritizes their well-being and their health. Whatever it looks like I said in my other episodes, it doesn't have to take long. It can be a small act that makes you feel like, yes, I prioritized my well-being, I took care of myself, even if I had a busy week. It can be your 5-minute stretching session, for God's sake. It doesn't matter, but the thing is that you show up as the person as you said you were going to be. If you want to be a person who takes care of themselves, you do it despite the circumstances. You can always find a way. Like the person who prioritizes their well-being, who takes care of themselves, they can find a way to take care of themselves, no matter the circumstances, and you're going to do that too. You're not going to let your circumstances dictate what you do. You are going to let your identity, your thoughts, and your new beliefs dictate what you do. And that's some powerful stuff there, I tell you. Then our final step of the process, step number 4, is you persist. You persist like your life depends on it. This is so crucial because in the beginning, when you start doing this kind of inner work, your mind is going to resist. Your mind is going to be like, what is this girl doing? Like, what is this? What's this thing? It's unfamiliar. I don't know about this. I want to go back to the old. But you're like, no way. We are not going back to the old. You have to set boundaries with yourself. You have to choose what you believe in. You have to choose the better thoughts to believe in, not the old negative thoughts. They still pop in your head. That's completely normal. You don't have to be afraid that they might come back. That's okay. Like one day you might wake up and feel like, oh, I feel so bad. I feel so lazy. I feel so tired. I feel like crap. But then you're like, okay, I observe this thought and I choose something better for myself. That's not a fact. That's not my reality that I want to live in. So I choose to be grateful for today. Do something good for myself today. You don't have to be like super positive, but you have to see things in a new way. Even in a neutral way, like I said in my other episode. You don't have to jump from negativity to positivity, but you have to find a neutral ground. At least a neutral ground. You can always turn back to gratitude because that makes you feel grounded, makes you feel better about yourself instantly. So let's do a quick recap of the steps. First, get clear on your vision. Get clear on your dream self. How do you want to feel, act, think, and believe? Write everything down as precisely as possible. Step number 2, use different tools to help you reprogram your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. You can use affirmations, journaling, meditations, EFT tapping, that's the one that I did mention before, but you can look it up, and voice memos. Step number 4, you start to embodying your new self. In everyday life, in everyday situations, you start to actively think, feel, and act like your dream self would act. Including those moments when you feel like you're slipping back to the old, you just like dig yourself back up and start to believe something better about yourself. You choose better thoughts. You choose better actions for yourself. What would your dream self do? You ask yourself and you do that. Step number 4, you persist. You don't give up. You persist like your life depends on it, because this is all going to pay off. It's going to be priceless once you do the inner work. Your life is going to be so much better. But you have to have faith and you have to persist. Remember, whatever you do in this life, always keep your smile and faith bigger than your fears. Bye.